Good evening. It's Sunday, January 10th, 10 days into the new year. How's it going for you in 2021 so far? We're going to be talking about all kinds of fun stuff tonight on the Ken and Glenn Show with a guy named Scott. And please welcome the stars of our show. It's Ken and Glenn. And me, a guy named Scott. Good evening, guys. Great to see you.
Good evening.
Good evening, Scott. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
We really need a crowd sound. Don't we have a budget in this show where we can create a crowd sound?
I know. We need that.
I mean, come on. We're into our second year now.
I know. We are. Season 2.
Oh, nice.
There. Wow.
Facebook renewed us. They picked us up for another year.
Hey, Jay. My buddy Jay Fox. We know him by a couple of different names. Hey, Scott, I'm sorry about your Colts.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Can you give me an update for today? Because I spent my day actually on Clubhouse the entire day.
Glenn,
there's evidence. There's Luria. So listen, Luria, she's my new bestie. She is the person who reached out to me first. Of all the people who have reached out, she was the first one. And so grateful for the conversations that have been had over the last 7 days. I've officially graduated from having my party hat on. And so I'm an official. Hey, Yasmin. Happy, beautiful new day, dear. Larry Schneider with us in the house tonight.
So what happened to the Colts?
They became the first team in the history of the National Football League to rack up 450 yards of offense, not turn the ball over a single time.
And still managed
to lose the game.
That's painful.
Lost by 3 points. They had one situation that I thought was pretty obvious. They should have kicked a field goal. They went for it, 4th and goal from like the 5. And still went for it. And then we also had our field goal kicker doink one off the upright from 33 yards. We lost by 3.
Wow.
So I think they appropriately named that a doink.
Doink.
It's tough to feel good about something that had a doink sound to it. Oh, my gosh.
But
Gloria.
Look, Gloria, wait, was I your first? Yes. Yes, darling, you were my first.
Today, the Ravens go to Nashville and beat the Tennessee Titans.
No, really?
They did?
I was so busy I didn't catch a single sports. Was that the first game of the day?
That was the first game of the day. New Orleans it's just went final. New Orleans beat Chicago, and now the Steelers and the Browns.
New Orleans beating Chicago does not surprise me. They probably beat them handily, did they?
Are the Steelers playing right now?
Yes.
Oh, I got to go. I'll see you guys.
Okay, have fun. Listen, it was a terrific show, Ken. Thanks.
And they're playing the Browns. Oh, Gloria, thank you so much. That's very kind. I appreciate that.
Look at that, Gloria praising your glasses.
Yeah.
All right, well, if we're going to get into glasses praise, here we go.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Except yours really are. Mine are just stupid readers.
That was there's some good-looking readers, though, out these days, aren't there? Puerto Rico. How great.
Puerto Rico. Hey, I saw Scott Ricard in the house.
You did.
Justin Benton.
Hey, Justin.
Wow,
Justin, listen.
Justin
he's been living on Clubhouse as well.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So we spent some time, Scott, talking about what are you grateful for. That was a couple of days ago, like 2 days ago. And then today we spent what do you celebrate? Hours talking about what do you celebrate? And, it occurs to me that there's certainly a lot more. I am celebration central and always have been, but there's more than just holidays or anniversaries that we celebrate. We can celebrate anything under the sun. And I'm convinced that the more you celebrate, the more you have to celebrate. just because you become, conscious of it. And I really celebrate that someone created that platform, because I think it's doing some wonderful things for people. And I think people casually refer to it as an addiction. I think it's just a joyous way to spend time. It's certainly doing no harm. And I think it's doing a lot of good in the world for those that practice that. Hey, Rainey, I'm sending prayers for Gigi, darling. I got your email, and I hope Gigi reappears, and I hope it's soon, and I hope that everything's fine. But hugs and kisses from Atlanta to you, my dear, up in Vancouver, British Columbia.
I'm looking. Oh, there she is. There she is, Reenie.
There's Reenie.
Wayne LC. Hey, Wayne, good to see you, man. Yeah, Justin, we were just talking about that actually before we started the show. He said, I'll bet there'll be more people on here because of Clubhouse. That's true.
Yeah, well, we welcome them. How was your week, Scott?
I've had a very busy week. We're doing a program on January 27th on storytelling, how to craft a business story. So I've spent the week working on that and getting that put together, and that's been fun. If anybody would like to know more about that, just go to distinctivestory.com and it'll tell you all about the program that we're doing. But that's been the week, and just been an office week. But I think that's part of it here, is that here in the first part of the year, trying to decide where you're going to go and gain the clarity about it. I think that's a problem that all of us can fight at one time or another. Is we just kind of live day to day, and you take each day as it comes, and there's something to be said for that. But nonetheless, you've got to have some direction. You've got to have some plan. You've got to have you can't. This whole thing about you can have it all. I don't believe that. I can believe you can have all of what you decide, but you have to decide. The people that sit back and wait on something to happen, this is off on another tangent perhaps, but that's part of where I think folks have been maybe misled a bit about how the law of attraction has been represented. Mm-hmm. It's not what you think about, it's what you think about and do about that comes about.
Correct.
And
exactly
that action, because we all have a limited number of minutes in a day. It's not time management, it's activity management. We have to really determine what we're going to do. So that's what I've been working on, is creating those plans, because I think the plans is kind of sharpening your saw and making sure the axe is ready to go before you get out there to chop some wood. So that's what I've been about this week.
You know what, Scott? I'm sitting here. I was holding my breath so I could get in at that right moment. But I think that right now, being at the beginning of the year, 2020 was a lot of fun. See, I'm painting it. It actually was. For me, it was an amazing year. But, I'm sitting here looking at you, and if I zoom in on you and go full screen.
Hold Scott on zoom in, would you?
Yeah.
I'm serious. Hold on zoom in, please.
Yep. Over to... what is that? Is that your left shoulder or your right shoulder?
Where the book's fading through.
The Taxi Terry. Is that your right shoulder?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I think that this would be the absolutely perfect time for you to reshare your story. And here's why. This is why. I think that people need to really get focused on not being self-centered, but being centered on helping other people have a better experience, whether it's in your business, your life. Look, if you are I used to sell bathroom remodeling for this giant company, and and I was always at the top of the leaderboard, always. And the thing that made me stand out was the service I provided to the customers. Most salesmen would go in, they'd bam, get the contract, get the money, and that customer would never see them again. I always went back to my customers after they installed the job, did the job. I'd go back, I would take pictures and selfies, and I had, we had that flip book presentation. I would take those and I'd laminate the pictures and I'd put their name on there and I'd show, and I think that people just don't know how to really get out of themselves and create that phenomenal experience. And I would love for you to tell that story about Taxi Terry, dude. It's a freaking phenomenal story.
You were so
Glenn, are
kind.
you okay with that? I'm kind of taking us.
Are you, first of all, am I okay with it? I went and dressed up in anticipation of it. I knew when you singled in on Scott, I thought you're going to ask him for Taxi Terry.
Oh my
And
God.
this story deserves for me to put on a coat.
Oh, you
Love
guys are
that.
too
So
kind.
I'm dressed up to
This
hear
is-
about
this is
Taxi
obviously
Terry.
unplanned. I mean, let me ask you this: would you prefer me to tell the story, or would you prefer me to pull up a clip so that you can hear
Oh,
the live audience respond?
I'm prepared to
Yeah,
say
pull up
both.
the clip, dude.
Of the
Both.
clip. If you'll give
Yeah,
me I'll
both.
find it
Story,
here on this
Scott.
computer. But
Scott, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Scott McCain Show. I want you to, I'm not joking. I want you to tell the story first and
Yeah.
set it up and then show us the video.
okay, can you give me just a second? I want to find
Absolutely.
the video
We have
so we can
nowhere
go
to be.
right into that.
The video is him telling the story. So I think the video is perfect.
I
Okay.
mean, that way you get audience reaction and you kind of hear.
Yeah.
Now, wait a minute. Are we talking about like you being on stage telling it?
yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's
Is that
perfect. By the
okay? I
way,
mean-
you may have noticed I am back in the ATL.
Yeah.
I'm back in ATL,
Good.
right? I've been back here now for 7 days and we'll be here for another 7 at least. How long is it going to take you to locate the video?
I have it, guys. It's like 10 minutes long. I don't know if you want to.
I don't care. We don't have to. We don't have sponsors that are making us end at a certain time.
No, let's just do it, man.
I want to give a shout out to all of our peeps that came aboard the Ken and Glenn show with a guy named Scott from Clubhouse.
Yeah.
So you know who you are. Thank you for tuning in tonight.
Thank
We
you.
are doing this every single Sunday, and we've never missed one since we started on Easter
Nope.
Sunday.
Nope.
Did you find it, brother?
I did. Let's see. Application.
Even when
window.
Scott was stuck in Hawaii, Scott was still on.
Every time we've all traveled, we've still
Yeah.
phoned in from where
we
we
found a
were.
way. Well, you in Florida in a hotel room,
Yeah.
Ken, on the balcony. I remember that. It was really cool.
Ken and I went live side by side from Nashville.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh, that was a blast. You guys were amazing. From a guest.
Reached out to you guys from Atlanta. I've reached out to you from LA. There's Jeff.
Hey,
I want-
Jeff. Look at this. We've got Mr. Camera Junkie too. What's going on, dude? That's Lewis.
That's correct.
From
He came
Clubhouse.
spent some time with us. So
Yeah.
I want to shout out to Jeff and Pitter, both who just met me downstairs at a beautiful little cafe, and we spent about an hour and a half together, and it was just a thing of beauty. We had a lovely meal, lovely chat, nice dessert, and the tables were positioned as closely as they could possibly be so that we could receive full value of the car fumes that were passing by.
That's funny.
It was like 2 feet away from the cars on the edge of the
That's
But what are you going to do? We had a good time here in Midtown Atlanta.
It was fun.
That's so cool.
We got to listen into that.
Peter, thank you guys. Enjoyed it.
Hey, and I hope I'm doing everything right. I didn't see where
Whoa.
you click on the video to make sure. that the
Did
sound-
you click? Did you make sure you shared the sound?
I didn't see.
Yeah, you got to go back. So stop
All right.
share and share again at the bottom. So go over to the far right and click Chrome tab, and then down at the click.
Oh.
Then click the video.
Hey,
Is it
well,
I was playing it through an application.
Oh, you can't do that. So here's what you need to do. Open up a new tab on your browser, Scott, and
Okay.
drag the video into that tab. You have to
Into
do
the
it
tab.
from I go over this in the training course.
Yeah, I know. I blew it. I
it's
forgot.
page. I actually know it happens to be page 37. Hey, Ken. While Scott's hunting that down, can we highlight a couple of the
Yeah.
chats?
There's another thread where everyone is commenting that Ken and Glenn can read/see. Try that thread. Huh? I'm not. I don't understand.
Yasmin, we love you.
Yasmin is a rock star.
I had a great time too, Jeff. Thank you, brother. It was nice.
Did you get it,
Very nice.
Scott?
You guys are the first guys and always will be the first guys that I met right out of Clubhouse.
Okay, Scott. Now, did you click share audio?
I did. I hope it's set up right.
Perfect.
Want to try it?
Let's
Hey,
try it.
Ken,
Hold on,
before you
hold
press
on.
play, you didn't welcome someone. It's very important that you welcome them. I'm
Welcome,
gonna do it for you, bud. You missed it.
JR and Ernest.
And specifically Scott Ricard.
Oh, I did that. I
You
did
did?
that.
No,
Yeah.
sorry.
Scott Ricard. Larry, oh wow, Larry, look at what Larry says. Best show on the planet.
Wow.
Wow, thank you.
That's pretty
That's
extreme,
incredible.
Larry. Thank you for that praise.
So why don't we
Gentlemen,
why don't
you're peeing in
we
tall cotton now.
huh?
That's what they say in Texas. When somebody gives you that kind of praise, you say, boys, we're peeing in tall cotton now.
Well, let's hey Scott, do you want to set this up or is there even a need to?
This is just me on stage. This is the last speech I gave before the pandemic hit, in fact.
Oh,
wow.
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So this is just
cool.
that's kind of why I've kept this video, because it's
Welcome, Eldana. That's awesome, dude.
so
Jeff, I appreciate it, but since I have a course teaching how to do this, probably would be counter productive to my course. But thank you, brother. All right, so here we go. Are you ready, Scott?
ready when you are. Here we go.
I'm excited to see this, brother.
Oh man.
Here we go.
All right.
We're talking about differentiation. I was thinking, is there any business you couldn't differentiate?
Can you turn it up at all, Scott? Is that as high as the
Maybe
volume
this is a
goes?
business, taxis. You know,
That's
Uber's disrupted
it,
their
guys.
industry.
That's all right.
Maybe
It'll,
this is a
let's
business
just
you
listen.
couldn't differentiate. Maybe this is a business you couldn't take to the iconic level. I was just about to write that until one person changed everything. I thought about it. IBM asked me to go to Jacksonville, Florida, and do a project there. They're consulting with them and speaking into their group. And so I was living in Indianapolis at the time. And the way you get from Indianapolis to Jacksonville is you fly Delta Airlines. Anybody fly Delta to get here, by the way? Several of us, okay. You know what I'm talking about then? It stands for delays every landing through Atlanta. Don't expect luggage to arrive. Didn't even leave the airport. Don't ever land there again. Okay, that's been me and Delta late. We are 4 hours late getting to Jacksonville. Bad weather, mechanical problem. 4 hours late. It's after midnight. I've got the breakfast speech the next morning. I get my old beat up suitcase, my old tired body. I drag it through the Jacksonville airport. Got to get a cab, take me to the hotel where I'm speaking the next morning. Walk out in the line for cabs is much longer than I anticipated. Do you do this? Do you ever take your place in the back of a line and count how many people are in front of you? You do that? So in your head, you're kind of like a turnstile, counting down the number until it gets to 1 and you get to go where you want to go or buy what you want to buy. So I'm going through the line and I'm listening to what the other cab drivers are saying when they're picking up their customers. You know, where are you going? How many in your party? Cash or credit? Finally make my way to the front of the line. It's well after midnight. I am half asleep. The next cab's going to be mine. I'm standing there. I see a cab just about like this coming down the driveway. It's going to be my cab. Just get me in it. Get me to the hotel. My driver pulls up, stops, and does something completely different. My cab driver jumps out of his cab, points at me in the front of the line, and shouts, "Are you ready for the best cab ride of your life?" Yeah, I guess so. Get in. I'm afraid now. I get in the back seat of the guy's cab. He jogs over. He gets my bag. He jogs back. He puts it in the trunk, jumps into the driver's seat, swings around to me in the back, sticks out his hand, says, "Mr. McCain?" Yeah, but how'd you know my name? Saw it on your luggage. Figured I might as well use it.
Is the picture freezing?
See, Terry.
Yeah, I don't know what's freezing it.
And I thought, why did I get the motivational cab driver? I shake his hand. We take off. Where are we heading tonight, Mr. McCain? said, well, the Marriott downtown, fantastic, sir. How long you be in Jacksonville? Just a couple days. He said, great, let's check out the weather. That's after midnight. I'm tired. I don't care if there is weather at this point. But he touches his dash and it lights up. He's got an iPhone in a very elaborate bracket, magnifying glass over the screen. I can clearly read it from the back seat. He is live real time set to weather.com for Jacksonville. I can see the seconds ticking off. I have the up to the instant forecast for my state. Now, look, I realize I could have looked it up on my own phone, but isn't it a cool thing he thought to provide as an extra for a customer? Man, I hope you're a golfer, Mr. McCain. You're going to have 2 awesome days in Jacksonville. Tell me why you're here. I said, well, IBM wants me to come down and talk to him about customer service.
Guys, I don't know what the
Customer service! I am so into that. Do you mind if I record our conversation? Who are you really? You know, for a second I thought, cash cab. I am in. Cash cab. Or taxi cab confessions, you know, one or the other. And I said, wait. Why are you so set up to record conversations in your taxi cab? He said, well, you see, Mr. McCain, if Dr. Smith, I'm taking him to the airport. He's a local good customer of mine. And during the ride to the airport, he mentions that his daughter, Jill, has just enrolled at Vanderbilt University. Well, as soon as he gets out of the cab, I hit my button. I record that information. Every night when I get home, I take these recordings that I've made and I enter the information into my database. Cab driver with CRM. He said, so the next time the doctor makes a reservation, that information pops up. As I'm driving him to the airport, this next time I turn to him and in conversation say, doctor, it is so good to see you. I've been wondering, how is Jill doing at Vanderbilt? He said, you think he's going to let anybody else drive him to the airport? No. Taxi Terry tells me some of the other innovative things that he's doing on my ride there. We get to the hotel and, you know, you've been there, you know the drill. They normally hand you 2 things. Now, sometimes they're printed on the same form, but they hand you a receipt so we can file that on our taxes or get reimbursed. They hand you their card, hoping you will call them or their company to take you back wherever you came from. If you're like me, I hang on to the receipt, pitch the card, you just take whatever cab's there, you get Uber these days. And Taxi Terry gets to the Marriott, he jumps out of the cab, runs to the back, gets my bag out of the trunk, holds it as if it were kin, walks my bag up to the bellman, hands the bellman my bag, and says, presenting Mr. McCain. I'd never been presented before. Then he turns to me and then he says, Mr. McCain, I realize that you will need a receipt for your business purposes, and someone brought you here. Someone must return you. I hope that's me. You can print out your receipt and reserve your return trip on my website, taxiterry.com. Cab driver web presence. He said, one more thing, Mr. McCain. You talked about how much you travel. I know you're in a lot of cabs. He said, I hope to franchise this someday. Everything from are you ready for the best cab ride of your life to the iPhone on the dash to the website. So as you're traveling, if you run into a cab driver that could use some help with customer service, I'm thinking that would be all of them. Said, you tell them about Taxi Terry. Isn't that cool? So the next morning, I get up and give a little speech. Well, that's the biggest thing that's happened to me. So I started my speech at IBM. I said, last night at the airport, this guy said, are you ready for the best cab ride of your life? The audience.
Well,
Hit play again.
let's see here. I'm just getting to the end. That's the worst part. There we go.
Unison went, Taxi Terry! He's the official cab driver of IBM. He sold them a service agreement. So 2 questions for you. One's micro, one's macro. Micro question is this: every time I go back to Jacksonville, who's waiting on me at the airport? Yeah. And every single time, are you ready for the best cab ride of your life? But the macro question is kind of this: the world has changed so much. It is so fast paced. It is so interconnected with social media. Can any one of us make a difference? And the answer is, it is the only way a difference is made. See, I don't think sales improve. I think sales professionals improve. I don't think music organizations get better. I think leaders of music organizations get better. I don't think anything gets better until you and I make the commitment for improvement, because that's how we make a difference. And I know it can happen because I've seen Taxi Terry make it so. So here's the kicker to the story. I finished the project with IBM. During the course of that, I rode with Taxi Terry probably 25 times. I'd pick up the phone, call him, he'd meet me wherever. I rode with him consistently. But then when the project was over, I didn't have a reason to keep going back to Jacksonville. So I started telling you the story that you just heard in my speeches, even though I hadn't been with Terry for 3.5 years. Well, it ends up I book another speech in Jacksonville. I call Terry. This time, instead of Terry answering the phone, a woman answers. She's very professional, sounds like a dispatcher, takes all my flight information, asks my name when I give it. She says, I know who you are. You're that guy that tells the story about Terry. I said, yeah, it's me. She said, well, I'll make certain he is the driver who picks you up. So my flight lands in Jacksonville. I walk out. Here's Taxi Terry standing with this beautiful brand new car. He says, you ready for the best cab ride of your life? I said, he's saying, I get in the front seat this time. I'm going to figure out what's going on, right? And I said, Terry, I've been worried about you. You know, Uber is disrupting so many taxi cab companies and the whole industry. And, you know, I haven't talked to you. Are things okay? How are you doing? He said, Scott, you know, things are pretty good. Because of what I've learned in reading your books, what I've learned being in business for myself, what I've learned through experience and through talking to my customers, he said, things are pretty good. When you rode with me, it was just me and my car. I'm just trying to keep food on the table and a roof over my head. He said, but now I own 7 new cars and employed 9 drivers full time. I said, man, that is, he said, I'm not done yet. He said, some people don't care how much they have to stop as long as they get a cheap ride. So he said, I bought these vans. We call that Easy Airport Shuttle. We shuttle people around Jacksonville 24/7. He said, one more thing. He said, you remember that book you gave me? He said, you talked in there about that every single professional needed a realistic, specific, written goal. He said, I took that seriously. My goal was to own a stretch limousine. He said, corny as it sounds, I cut a picture of one out. I taped it to my mirror so I'd see it every morning when I'm shaving. I would literally sit in my cab every day and close my eyes and for 30 seconds vividly imagine what the new car interior would smell like when I got my new stretch limousine. And he said, I want you to know I got it. I got it. We call that Terry transportation. He said a few weeks ago, the Clinton Global Initiative held their worldwide conference just up the road at the Ritz-Carlton at Amelia Island. They had to pick someone to be former President Bill Clinton's driver for an entire week. He said, who do you think they picked? And that is obviously Bill Clinton on the left. That is the real Taxi Terry on the right. And then I said one of the stupidest things I've ever said in my life. I said, Terry, what did you say to Bill Clinton? You ready for the best limo ride of your life? You know, what else would I say, right? And I bet it was the best limo ride of Bill Clinton's life. maybe one of the more uneventful. But a good ride.
Nicely said, bud.
Thanks.
So to show
That was good.
and when you create this kind of iconic performance, phone rings in my office, totally unexpected. The largest publisher in the world, McGraw-Hill, said, Scott, we watched your story on YouTube. We heard about what you say about Taxi. Would you write a book about it? So I wrote a book. It's sold all over the world, telling the story of Taxi Terry. We're not going to.
And that's about it. Anyway, thank you guys. That was so kind. I'm sorry for the internet hangups there, but
That was awesome,
Hey.
dude.
that
Hey,
was,
let's not overlook the fact that you are so fashionably trim now.
you know,
It's the first glaringly obvious thing about that video is how heavy you were now.
Yeah.
And Scott has a girlishly slender physique these days. I'm a little bit turned on by it. I got to be honest with you.
I've lost 35 pounds since that. It's so
Wow.
funny you said. I was watching that video going, holy cow, who is that fat guy on the stage? But,
Well, Carolyn has asked me multiple times if I were in touch with what exactly my attraction to you is. And now she's seeing the video, and I think tonight she gets it.
Wow.
oh man, oh, thank you, Jerry. I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you.
You know, I think it's important that we spread the love here, and we show Glenn Morshower's TED Talk.
yeah,
Oh,
great idea.
I think
you're a
we
sly
should.
dog.
I think we should. So
Well,
I'm going to share.
skip the opening of it and just maybe come in a couple of minutes into it.
I already do.
Because I think I think it's a cool thing that all
I'm
three
trying-
of us are concerned, genuinely concerned about reaching human hearts, and
Yeah.
we do it all the time. And it is that commonality that brought us together. It's so
So
beautiful.
drop-
I mean, I'm sitting there listening to you, and you're referring, Scott, to micro, macro, which are words I use in damn near all of my talks, and certainly with in just discussions with people privately. And so it just seemed as I'm listening, that of course was a talk you did before we met this year.
Right. Yeah.
And I think about what Ken was doing privately in his universe and what you were doing and what I was doing, all three of us in different parts of the world, and the heavens saw fit to unite us. And I'm just forever grateful. I think it's
Same
beautiful.
here. Same here.
So what I want to do is anybody drop a 1 if you do not want to hear the TED Talk, and
Can you clarify, Ken, that does not mean I heard you.
Oh, Ken, you got him.
drop
wait,
a
wait.
7 if you do want to hear the TED
Make
Talk.
sure that the newbies over from Clubhouse don't think that dropping a 1 means it's time to urinate. Make sure that they understand the distinction, if you would, please.
So I just love the way everybody immediately starts dropping a 1. So I had to. And somebody told me that, I don't think it's true, but that Facebook's algorithm now is triggered if people start dropping a 1. And I'm like, come on, man. I don't know about that. But anyway, let's see. Let me share my screen, because whether they dropped any 7s or not, I was still going to do it.
Well, and if they do drop a 7, please just circle their name for me and take them off the list of the show, if you would.
No, a 7. A 7 is a good thing. That means
Drop a 7 if they would like to see it. I got you.
yes. A 1 if they don't want to see it. Unfortunately, too many people dropped 1s.
They had already dropped 1s. I see what you're doing there. That's very clever. Scott, remind me to never talk to Ken again, if you would.
Note to self.
Oh Lord. All right, let's do this. Ready? Let's do this. I've got it queued up already.
In LA because I always was at ease.
Wow, the sound is really low. On
Okay, that was fun. Let's go on with the show. Let's 86 this and we can move on. Because if the sound is soft, that's not going to do anybody any good.
It's super soft.
Here, I'm gonna do the whole TED Talk. Really, Have a good time while you're here visiting the earth. There it is. There's the whole talk. Okay. Because that's really all I'm ever
it's a
saying.
great talk, man.
It's a solid talk, but that's all I ever say when I take the stage is be kind, be loving, celebrate your butt off. The dance is brief.
It is brief, man.
I mean, that's my central message. But you know what? It's not too brief, right? We say life is short. I wonder if life is the correct length that it was intended to be. And we just need our task before us, since we're all checking out of Hotel Earth anyway at some point. Our task is to get on board with things the way they are so that we can have a harmonious experience here instead of endlessly bumping into life and to each other, to our own natural, just our own natural design. I talked about that a lot on Clubhouse over the last couple of days, that we resist so many things that are natural, that as soon as someone cries, boy, we just can't wait to shove a Kleenex tissue into their lives, as if to tell them, please stop that because your crying makes me uncomfortable. And I likened it to handing someone a cork if they were experiencing diarrhea, and the absurdity of that you would never do that. And yet there are just so many of those things that I see. And people apologize for their own emoting. It's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. Like, why are you apologizing? Yeah. And the answer is they're apologizing because society has left this imprinting upon them that somehow it was not cool to just express what you were authentically feeling. And I'm really enjoying that the people that I hang out with know that they are loved just as they are, warts and all. And it's really important that people feel valued and loved and appreciated for who it is they are, so that they can stop the parading around, the masquerading, the facades. I haven't been around Clubhouse long enough to know what some of the games are that probably are no doubt being played on Clubhouse. Jeff alluded to some of it that I guess I'm so busy thinking positive thoughts that it hadn't occurred to me some of the things that people were doing that were abusive and that were wrong. So you never know. It's all an indicator of where someone's consciousness is, you know.
And I've listened in on Clubhouse. I haven't hosted anything as you guys have, but I mean, when I hear that, Glenn, and correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, it just sounds like it's human nature, right? I mean, there are going to be good human beings on Clubhouse, and there are going to be the other kind of personalities as well. And
right,
just like any form of media, it's reflective of the vast array of, for lack of a better term, of human consciousness.
Yeah, I really think, Scott and Ken, that there's something interesting about anyone shining. And I say this in my program, that people want you to shine, but the vast majority of them do not want you to outshine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is based on an unspoken sense of competition.
Yeah.
That they compare themselves to others all the time. And there are the emotional kamikaze pilots that exist. And I use this term because I was listening. Someone was in the middle of a really heartfelt share, deeply moving, in the middle of the night, and I'm quite the night owl. And they were sharing from their heart, and I mean, it was pure and beautiful. And someone just started talking over them and uttering obscenities. And actually, I think it may have been, you guys know Christy, who watches our show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think it may have been, it was either Christy or possibly Pamela, but it was someone that was really speaking from their heart. And someone began uttering vulgarities about what they wanted to do with someone's body. And what prompted it is that they saw light. They saw light. They saw light. They saw love. They saw beauty. They saw connection. And they thought, this is something that needs to be attacked. And it's just really interesting because it wasn't random that just happened anywhere. They were waiting for a share to be heartfelt. And then I'm sure we're sitting there waiting to press the mute button so that they could come in and say something. And then, of course, promptly disappear, but to make sure that they offered a derailment to whatever was being shared from someone's heart. And it's just interesting that element does exist in the world, and it just does. And we have to do what we can to do our best, despite the fact that that exists, you know.
Wow.
Amen.
And we have to learn to cohabitate with that which we have no desire to cohabitate with. No desire. I'm right at 0. And yet, because it exists, I have to find a way to bob and weave and meander and dance around through, above, over, and so forth. Because it's here. It's here in the world.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably the biggest task before us all, is how do I find a way to cohabitate in that universe without going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs?
I got to tell you, Glenn, I agree 1,000%. And I, to me, that has been the single biggest, well, I don't know if disappointment, it's more than that, is how much meanness that there is out there. You know, hey, in several different areas, the three of us don't see things the same way. But we have always disagreed without being disagreeable. It doesn't have any impact on our friendship. And I don't know how you can be friends without being open and, I mean, have a true deep friendship without being open and honest about what you think and what you feel, but also feel safe that you can express that and it doesn't threaten or derail a friendship. The my way or the highway, the meanness that's out there, I think that's going to be one of our biggest challenges to overcome. I do not mean that as a political statement in any way, shape, or form. I mean that as
understood and received as such.
Where we are in even not just as a nation, but as a world. You know, how do we get past this antagonism? How do we get past this? You know, if you don't agree with me, then you must be evil. We've got to figure out how we move beyond that, because that's destructive to the things we.
My life over the last several years has been about purification and just really dumping whatever isn't moving life forward, and anything that impedes a sense of peace or purity, it's just going away. Mark Rodriguez in the house tonight. Lynn Serrano in the house tonight.
Wow. They're taking a break from Clubhouse as well. Look at all these people.
Do it. Tonight. Yes, do it tonight.
Look at this.
Joan Anton, you need to learn about Clubhouse.
So I follow Mark on Clubhouse, and man, you talk about somebody that's on a lot of different, you know, I'm constantly, Mark, getting reminders on my cell phone about, things that you're doing. So I look forward to joining you there someday. Hey, it's 56 after the hour.
Oh, well, we know what that means.
It's the time every week at this precise and exact time that we play. Ooh, that's just wrong.
Every week at this time.
Exactly.
I've never seen it fail.
On the money.
So,
yeah.
Ken, start us out.
I don't have anything.
Neither do I. Scott, balls in your court.
Think of.
We're already 2/3 of the way done.
So I do this weekly live stream, and we have a segment, and two of the other guys.
This is going to be what's wrong.
Refuse to participate in this segment, and that's just wrong.
That's wrong. That sounds terrible. I would get off that show if I were you.
Oh, that's fun.
Gloria says it's 57 past the hour for me, Scott.
Well, it is now. That's how long the segment took. We were all of 38 seconds.
I can't think of anything. Let me think. There's probably something.
Oh, every week includes something that's just, well, I'll tell you one that's just wrong, but it worked out fine. But it is just wrong when you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning because you want to put in a few more hours before you go in front of camera, and you have an early morning call and you break your butt because you're going to be on fire, and the van picks you up on time and you are en route to the studio, and the phone rings and they let you know that the scene that you sacrificed sleep for is not going to be shot. But wait, there's more. What is the there's more, you may ask? The there's more is, but instead, we're doing scene number 55, which was not scheduled for another 8 days, which means none of the players in scene 55 have memorized scene 55, because we don't memorize 8 days out. We memorize in the order of shooting. So yes, we've read it. We've read through the script a few times, but none of us know the scene at all. So I arrive where we are sent our script upon arrival, and we go into hair and makeup, which for me means makeup. And then we start studying madly and go right into rehearsal. And 15 minutes later, we are shooting this bad boy. And it reminds me of the Transformer films, when I have had monologues from the general handed to me by Michael Bay while I was in the makeup trailer. And I spent 30 minutes studying it, and they gave us what I thought was going to be the 5-minute warning, and you would hear, Glenn, and I opened the door, and this PA was there who would hand me a new script and said, I'm so sorry, and hand me a brand new script. And it's 2 full pages worth of monologue. And he says, you're still up in 5 minutes. 2 pages. Now, mind you, this is a little small budgeted production, so it's nothing to worry about. The budget's only $150 million. And 5 minutes later, Michael's greeting me, and he's saying, you all set? And you go, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's shoot it. And you don't know whether to poop or wind your wristwatch. It's, and so that, I mean, it is just wrong, but what are you going to do? And the answer is you toss yourself out the window and grow wings on the way down. I mean, I don't know of another way to handle those situations. So that's mine. And it's been a few years since I've arrived on set and within 30 minutes was shooting a scene that none of us knew a word of 30 minutes before. And it was a lengthy scene too. It was a walk and talk, and the scene came out brilliantly. We were elated. Everybody was elated. The director was elated because all of us knew that no one had adequate prep time. But we managed, because I think that's what you do in life. We live in a sink or swim world.
Hey,
We
Glenn,
do.
question for you about that. When they do something like that, like you get that script from Michael Bay right before you go on,
Indeed.
and now you're shooting it. I'm guessing part of this depends on the director, but does it have to be exactly word for word? Or
No, and obviously
process, you get the meaning, and the word might vary a bit, but you're in the moment and do it.
It all depends. It all depends. If it was given to you right before, then they know it is humanly impossible for you to be word perfect. If it's 2 full page, I mean, come on, even Superman would get it wrong. But the idea is to look at it and immediately metabolize the intent. Yeah. So that you can get, and then it's weird because as soon as you strap on this voice, which is the way I sound for the general, and I start getting pissed off about fires, and it's just weird, but that's the way it works.
You froze out for a second, and Ken and I
froze that, and I started getting pissed off about.
Wait a minute. Was it one of these where I was talking and it went?
No, you had more of an angry look on your face.
Yeah.
Let me try that again. Let me try it here. Let me get my earbuds out so they don't shake. How about this one? Was I really good and pissed, and all of a sudden I said, "Dad"?
That's about it right there. Now you got it.
Yeah,
that's good.
There you go. That's it. What's up, Greg Walker? While Glenn is froze.
With Les Brown.
Yeah, what's happening, Greg, the big dreamer?
Oh, Greg has a photo of Les Brown.
Yeah.
I thought maybe Les Brown was going incognito under the name of Greg Walker.
No, Greg's picture there is with the great Les Brown.
Wait a minute. Here we go. Loria says, I've had similar experiences, minus the memorizing a script. Grow wings on the way down is exactly how you get through it. That's it.
Yep.
That's the deal right there. Let me share a word, by the way. We love to share words from time to time here on the Ken and Glenn Show with a guy named Scott. The word for this is defenestration. Defenestration. Either one of you gentlemen know the word?
I know it.
Can you please call out to your assistant there and let her define? I talked about being thrown out of a window, throwing yourself out of a window. So just say that, defenestration.
Glenn, why don't you go ahead and say it?
Do I have to call her by name?
Yes.
Lexa, what is the meaning of the word defenestration?
Defenestration is usually defined as the act of throwing a thing or especially a person out of a window. By the way, you can now ask another question without having to first say Alexa. Enable the feature by saying, turn on follow-up mode.
Woo!
The act of throwing a person out a window.
Oh, how's that?
I forgot the definition, but I have heard of that.
Yeah, we always learn something here on the fabulous Ken and Glenn Show with a guy named Scott. That's this week's
right.
word,
Oh
defenestration.
Big word alert.
So if
Greg-
somebody
Greg
would introduce
Walker-
themselves as a defenestrator,
Yes.
you head to the hallway, right?
Yeah. Right.
Oh man.
What are some of our other chime-ins tonight? Hey, Donovan.
Greg Walker said, great day. He was there almost, I think, the entire time we were on today. So that was pretty cool.
Oh, that's Greg pictured next to Les Brown.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
There's Pitter. Hey, Pitter.
Pitter.
Pitter had dinner with me.
Did she pronounce her last name for you? Is it-
No, she did not. So
I'm
you're
gonna
gonna have-
guess.
You're going to have to ask her to break it down.
Go-
And you'll say it and she'll let you.
Gownauer. Gownauer. It's Gownauer. Gownauer.
Well, she'll
Gownauer.
give you a thumbs up or down.
Or she can spell it out phonetically. That would be awesome. Look, Joan said her Alexa answered you.
Oh, it's good.
That's
No,
funny.
that's funny.
Theodora is in the house.
Theodora.
Theodora.
I just want to say this. We always love when Theodora reach out to us with her heart and talk with the language of love. We love this. Theodora, good evening to you, my dear.
Oh, she says she's back on cancer treatments.
Helping
Oh.
you with laughter. Good, dear.
You got
Good. We
to
send you love and
Yes.
healing energy, darling.
Oh, wow. I was way, way off.
Yeah, really nice, Ken.
Well, dude, you had dinner with her and you didn't ask. So
well, that's true.
I'm just going to have to put the responsibility and the blame on you.
Well, I think that's fair. You see how there can't be an argument when you immediately just
I
agree
know,
with the
dude.
other side. And next time someone comes after your butt and tries to create friction, just go, you know what? I'm pretty sure you're right.
That's right.
Or just tell them how
That's
fair
right.
you think it is.
Hey, if you're in agreement with somebody, an argument cannot exist.
Right.
Oh, she said, I love you too. That's amazing.
What other chime-ins do we have?
We
this
were
evening?
talking about pit bulls.
Yeah, don't even ask her to get me to start talking about that discussion. Pitter scared the living daylights out of me tonight.
Why? What
I
happened?
can't even go there. I just can't do it.
Wow.
I can't do it. It was too severe. I'm still having an emotional response to it.
I mean, you're leaving your brothers hanging here. I'm just
Well,
gonna-
we'll talk privately. We just don't have to talk about everything online.
Mm. Okay.
I wish more people knew that rule, that not
Yeah, no
everything
kidding.
has to be discussed online.
Right. Right.
Oh my God, there's some stuff on Clubhouse that
Oh, there's some stuff in
What?
Facebook that people will say about somebody in their town or their family member. You know, my sister did this, and they open themselves up. They talk about these incredibly personal things, and it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
you know,
yeah,
because-
my cousin Andrea, She pooped the other night, and so help me God. So help me God, there's a missing piece of dental floss that we found inside it. Now here's what's interesting. And you're going, oh my God,
No.
make it stop.
Is Clubman app? It's Clubhouse, and it's an app.
Yes.
Yep. Clubhouse
And don't
is
you
an
have
app,
to be invited though?
and it's and the best way to get invited is to download the app, and then hopefully one of your friends are on Clubhouse, and they will be given the opportunity to bring you in. So that's
Hey
what happened
guys,
to me.
the other day in our acting workshop, someone was talking about challenges on their voice and keeping their vocal cords in shape. And I suggested that they go through a ritual of a vocal warm-up, which I do on days when I'm performing. So the other day before I went in to the studio that morning, I got up and did a vocal warm-up. And I would like to show people what that warm-up looks like. I think I've done it one other time on the show, maybe 7
Look
or 8
who
months.
we got there in the comments. Grant Cardone.
Oh, hey, Grant.
Hey,
Grant.
Good
So
to see you, bro.
Grant will enjoy this. Is that a fresh one or is that one
Yeah,
you
he
peeled
just
back from
posted it.
earlier?
He's here. He's here.
So here is the vocal warm-up, gentlemen, and it goes like this. I do this right before I go to work. Trinidad and the big Mississippi and the town Honolulu and Lake Titicaca. The Popocatépetl is not in Canada, but rather Mexico, Mexico, Mexico. Canada, Malaga, Remedy, Brindisi, Canada, Malaga, Remedy, Brindisi, Canada, Malaga, Remedy, Brindisi, Canada, Malaga, Remedy, Brindisi. Yes, yes. Tibet, Tibet, Tibet. Nagasaki, Yokohama. Nagasaki, Yokohama. 3, 4. What to do to die today at a minute or two till 2. A thing distinctly hard to say, but harder still to do. They'll beat it to 2 at 20 to 2 with a rat-a-tat-tat-tat to 2, and the dragon will come when he hears the drum at a minute or two till 2 today at a minute or two till 2. Bebop, bebop, t-t-t, bebop, bebop, t-t-t, bebop, bebop, t-t-t, sa, bebop, bebop, t-t-t, bebop, bebop, t-t-t, bebop, bebop, t-t-t, sa. Aluminum, linoleum, aluminum, linoleum, aluminum, linoleum, toy boat, toy boat, toy boat, toy boat, red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, cinnamon, synonym, cinnamon, synonym, cinnamon, synonym, unique New York, unique New York, unique New York, unique New York, woo war, whoa, wow, woo war, whoa, wow, woo war, whoa, wow, woo war, whoa, wow.
Wow.
And
Wow
that
is the right word for that. That's holy cow.
Jeez, dude.
Oh
here's,
my
and
God.
here's the deal. Here's the deal. Once you've gone through that, nothing is going to derail your life. Are you kidding me? You are so poised for your day when you do that. That's better than 5 cups of coffee.
Dude, hey, Grant wants to
The
join your
listener is
acting
better than
class.
5 cups of coffee.
Well, then tell Grant to join my acting class. The earliest he would be able to be present would be tomorrow morning because that's when we go live at 11:30.
Yeah.
So Grant, if you want to come to my class, I teach on Mondays and Tuesdays online via Zoom.
Dude, that is hilarious. If you ever get pulled over by
Oh, I've done crazy stuff like that on the side of the road.
that is so funny. Holy crap.
Absolutely. Hey, John. Well, Grant, thanks for watching this show tonight, man.
Yeah.
Hasn't Grant been doing some Clubhouse stuff?
I think he's been on more than we have. Every time I open up Clubhouse, Grant's in a room. It's
Well, that's a
unreal.
good thing.
Yeah.
That's a really good thing. And Kimberly Gail Williams, I'm glad you're feeling better, darling, and I'm glad you're here with us tonight. Kimberly's been one of my peeps that's been with me at the studio since day one. Yeah, 6 years we've been buds.
I love what Justin's bringing up here.
Oh, well, you know, it's interesting. I can actually do that in this format.
Oh, you can. Yes.
Which I really can't do, you know, on Clubhouse because it's kind of a visual. So we
Yeah.
have this manifestation exercise that we do called What You Claim on Your Pizza. And you got to put a little stank in it. So it's like, what you claim on your pizza, right? And you're claiming whatever it is you're ready to manifest in your life. So give me a thing that you're ready to claim on your pizza, Ken.
Gulfstream 550.
Give me a short-winded thing you're ready to claim, Ken. This is a rhythm exercise. Like if you wanted love on your pizza, or you wanted so Scott, to be clear, these are things that you are ready to experience. This is not a joke, by the way. This is for real.
I know it's not.
Things you are ready to experience in your life.
This
So give
is
me
how
something.
this dude, you got Denzel Washington on your pizza.
I did, and I'm going to explain that. So, okay, so for example, your pizza is a metaphor for your life. And what we teach in my program is that that having things appear in your life is just as simple as ordering something to appear on your pizza. So I was teaching them this exercise, and I said, for example, let me show you how easy it is to order Denzel into your life. So when I was called upon and someone said, hey, what you claim on your pizza? I said, I claim Denzel on my pizza, Denzel pizza, Denzel pizza, Denzel pizza, Denzel pizza. And the group says it with us. They say Denzel pizza. Some people say, what you claim on your pizza, I claim love on my pizza, love pizza, love pizza, love pizza, love pizza. And when you're immersed in a group of people who have only your best interest in mind, and they are echoing the thing that you're ready to have in your life. So I actually claimed Denzel, and I claimed Denzel for 6 weeks. And my phone rang, and my agent said, the people at the studio want to talk with you about playing Denzel Washington's boss in a new film called The Little Things. Now, they actually want you to come in on Thursday. This was on a Tuesday. And I explained to them that you live in Dallas, so we'll just send them a tape, send them a demo tape. I said, no need. I'll catch a plane. I want to work with Denzel, and there's a reason this is coming up anyway. So now my end of the agreement is to show up. I'll speed the story along. So I fly to LA the next morning. I specifically, it's not like I'm in short supply of shirts, but I specifically went into a store when I got there to buy what I was going to label my Denzel shirt, because it was a specific shirt where I waited for that shirt to sort of talk to me as I looked at them on the rack and went, that's the shirt. That's the shirt that I wore when the meeting with Denzel's people went perfectly. This is called referring to the future in your past. So that's the shirt I wore when. Now keep in mind, I'm still on the front side of the experience, but I've declared in my mind that that is the shirt I was wearing when the meeting went perfectly. Bought the shirt. The next morning when I was getting ready for the meeting, I ironed it to get all the new creases out of it. And it felt so good to put on what I knew was my perfect meeting Denzel shirt. The meeting did go perfectly. Of course it did. That's inevitability consciousness. And 24 hours later, they called and offered me the role. And that's for this film called The Little Things, which opens in 3 weeks. So cool.
Have you
So
seen it? I'm just curious. Have you seen it yet, Glenn?
I have not seen the movie, but I have seen my stuff with him. And I was very happy with it, because they actually had me come in to do post-production sound. And that was the one that I brought DB in with me, because DB does impressions of Denzel. And I had him do some of the post-production looping just for fun, you know. Yeah. And I tell you, it looks really, really good.
Do you not get some kind of a special preview of the whole movie before they release it?
Yeah, in fact, it works exactly like our preferential treatment that we received at the cafe, the Loveless Cafe in Nashville. It's that same school of thought.
Oh my God! Hey, I gotta tell you, for anybody that doesn't know what he's talking about, I meet Glenn down in Nashville when he was in Nashville. What was that? A couple months ago now, right?
Yeah.
And Glenn's like, oh, I gotta take you to the Loveless Cafe, and I'm like, sounds like a strip club, dude. What is that? And oh no, it's the best food in the world. And so we go and it's amazing. It's amazing food. It's packed. Yes, there's people outside there. It's just so we go up and we're wearing our masks and all that, and we go up and we'd like to get a table, and they're like, okay, it's about a 45-minute wait, and I'm like, okay, and so we put our name on the list, and
so then Ken gets fly. Ken's getting ready to get slaughtered.
Oh yeah. Well, now the salesman in me comes out. I'm like, this is bullshit. We're not waiting 45 minutes.
So he's like, watch how good I am, Glenn. Watch this.
Yeah.
Watch this.
I did not say watch how good I am. So
y'all watch this.
I walk in, and the girl, there's some young girl behind the register, and I'm like, oh hey, look at all these photos up here. What's it take to get your picture up there on the wall? And she goes, well, I said, that's really extraordinary. And I said, what's it take to get up there? And he goes, you have to do something. You have to do something really extraordinary. I go,
I think they said you have to do something important.
Important or something like that, right? So I go, well, this is my, and of course Glenn's got the mask on, and I go, dude, take the freaking mask off for a second. And he's like, because nobody recognizes him with his damn mask on. So I'm like, just pull it down for a second so they can get a peek at your. And so she did not. So I go, well, his picture's the first one you see when you walk in.
And it's right there, and you can tell it's me. And then Ken leans over smiling like, now. And he goes, so now how long is the wait? And she leans right in and goes, it's still going to be 45 minutes.
Did no good. I was like, what kind of a celebrity are you, dude?
It did make me feel good.
Early.
It did make me feel good when the manager came over and talked to us and said that everybody waits there, and that includes the likes of Garth Brooks. That it doesn't matter. I mean, it's just a really popular place, and those are the rules.
Well, and I think that's part of, for what my Nashville pals say, that's part of the attraction too.
Right.
Is that you can be Garth Brooks and it's going to be 45 minutes.
It's
right, exactly.
They get treated like normal. There's no cut the line or back room or private.
No.
They could have made my list of things that were just plain wrong is the lack of preferential treatment.
There was none. I mean, nobody came up and said, oh my God, can I get my picture with you? Or none of that. I was the only one that did a selfie with Glenn that day.
Yeah, but you were taking pictures for a lot of tourists.
Yeah.
That wanted their picture out in front of the sign.
I'm totally against preferential treatment unless I'm the one receiving it.
Yeah, exactly. You're very anti that.
I do think we got it shaved off by about 5 minutes. So,
hey, does Grant have any opinion he'd like to share with us about? Grant, come on, Grant, come spend a few minutes with us, man.
Oh,
you've been on with Ken before. Come on and hang with us, dude.
Yeah, if you're still watching, you'd like to hop on, dude. I'll send you the link. So
you know what? I bet he's got a burning desire. That's my feeling.
Let me know. Grant's always got a burning desire, man. So that'd be cool. So what else? What other comments do we have here?
Yeah, check them out. Let's read.
I've never had that celebrity preferential treatment. Have you had that, Scott?
Yeah, he has.
Well, I've been fortunate. I mean, it's
he has.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
The other thing is when I used to be on television all the time in Indianapolis, for something like that, it's scratch my back. It's like they hope that by getting you in and getting you something nice and doing something nice, then you'll mention them on the show. You know, and
right.
So I get that. I mean, that's good promotion for a business, kind of like for social media influencers, we see that now. But
and I tell you, Scott, my experience has been in all the years of doing 24, what we used to see, because it did mark the loss of anonymity for everyone associated with it. Sure. And what I noticed is, you guys know who Dan Lauria is, and I know Dan would love to be on our show at some point. He played the father on The Wonder Years. Dan and I have been friends for probably close to 35 years now. And when I was a younger actor, Dan is in the neighborhood of about 10 years older. He told me, he said, Glenn, you are on the exact same trajectory that I was on when I was your age. So I would expect that we will have very similar careers. And indeed we have, in terms of being well-known character actors, where people don't necessarily know your name, but they know you as what is officially called that guy. And so
sorry,
what were you going to say? Yeah. Are you going to say good day from
good day,
Chocolate Johnny? Chocolate Johnny's alive from Sydney. Good day, mate. Nice to see you. He is a sweet man. No, but what I was going to say is that people, they do nice things for you, And here is what every generous act has been accompanied with. I'm talking about when someone that didn't even know you went above and beyond. They said, we're just so appreciative of what gifts you've given us. Please, this is my one chance to do something nice for you. And I think that's always so sweet. You know, it's beautiful.
And it bothers me when people rain on that parade.
In what way, Scott?
Well, by not recognizing the specialness that someone uses to take care of you. One of my best pals in the world is a guy, Brian Prout. And Brian's the drummer of the band Diamond Rio. And he and his then fiance were staying at a hotel here in Vegas. They were at the Wynn. And the person that runs that had booked Diamond Rio many times, and they'd become friends. Well, anyway, so they gave him this suite at the top of the Wynn. And there's only 2 suites evidently on that floor, and there's a special elevator that you take there. And it was just a nice thing that they did for Brian. Brian and his fiance get on the elevator to go there, and the only other person on the elevator obviously has the other suite, and it's Tony Robbins. And it's a long ride all the way up to the top. And Brian said, Tony, I appreciate all that you've done. And he said, I want you to know my best friend is a speaker. And Tony Robbins said, well, who is that? And he said, well, Scott McCain. And Tony Robbins said, oh my gosh, how's Scott doing? Does he still love speaking the way he always has? And Brian, who has signed a gazillion autographs in his time, and he says, now, here's what I want you to know. He said, I know Tony Robbins didn't know you. And I said, I've met Tony, but there's no reason Tony Robbins knows I love whatever. But Brian said, isn't it great he didn't rain on my parade? Isn't it great that he didn't say, oh, I don't know your friend. Who is that? But instead, what speaker doesn't love what they do?
Yeah.
I just thought that was a very wonderful thing for somebody to do. Just a really nice thing, right? Instead of saying, gee, I don't know your friend. Instead, responding in that way, I thought was a very, and that's what Brian was saying was, he didn't rain on my parade. He had a moment where he could have played big shot. I don't know who that is. And
right.
I love it when people in that.
So he doesn't know you?
Tony Robbins doesn't. I can't imagine.
I'd be surprised because you're about as memorable as they get. It would have been funny if he'd gone the other way and said, yeah. Is he still selling fishing poles in Des Moines?
He was acquitted of those charges, wasn't he?
Was he ever acquitted? Oh, I love it.
We
have a few more comments.
Fishing poles in Des Moines.
Yes.
Does he still love it the way he used to?
Where did that come from?
It comes from my extremely random mind.
Oh my God, that's funny.
What other comments? Who's watching tonight, Ken?
We have Lewis on here. We still have Jeff on here. There's Glenn Bill, the great Glenn Bill. I'll remind you all. So have you guys been on Glenn's podcast?
No.
Oh, he's got a great podcast. You guys need to be on.
I feel like I met every podcaster on the planet in the room I was in today. The one that you joined me in, Ken, before we did our own thing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the whole thing. Scott, you got to get on, man. I know you said you'd been in there, but it's hotter than a pistol right now. And the second we get off tonight, I'm headed back in.
So am I. Let's start up another room.
Let's do another room tonight, Ken.
Yeah, let's do it.
And everyone here who hasn't had enough can come join us.
Yeah.
Guys, I
would love to do that.
Just because I was mentioning this thing about kind treatment, and I do believe I've shared this with you guys before, but it's just on my mind. I had so many great things happen in connection with 24, and one of them was a woman who told me the story of her dying father, who said he was at death's door and hospice was there. They expected him to go any day. And
apparently it was down to the wire where they thought it would be within the next 24 hours. And that was on a Wednesday night. And he actually looked up and said, I have to make it to Monday because that's the season finale of 24. And she told me this story about him.
Oh my
And
God.
son of a gun, there's no punchline to this to be funny. For real, she said, Glenn, it was a miracle. He lasted through the week, watched the show, and died an hour later.
Oh,
So, I don't want to push the envelope and say he died at, 9:01 right after it ended. He made it for the show and lived about another hour, but he was so focused on seeing that season finale. And we heard stories about people who were watching overseas, that were watching during incidents in Afghanistan, that there was just an endless amount of stories. But I think the one that really shocked me was when I was shooting one day and Harvey Korman was on set. Did I ever tell you guys this?
no.
Right. So Harvey Korman
Love
from the,
Harvey Korman.
from the old Carol Burnett show.
Yeah.
And I looked over and I thought, what the hell is Harvey Korman doing here? Because this was just feet away from the camera. I mean, we had just walked off. They were resetting cameras. We were getting ready to go back in. And Harvey locks eyes with me. And I realize he's headed over here to talk to me. And he comes up and he goes, Aaron Pierce. Aaron Pierce. He said, it is so nice to meet you. I said, it's nice to meet you, Mr. Korman. And I reached out my hand. I said, I'm Glenn Morshower. He goes, you're Aaron Pierce. He corrects me. He goes, and I really need you to play along. Okay. He said, for the next at least half hour, can you please just go along? I know it's a pain in the ass, but just go along with it. You're Aaron Pierce. He says, my whole family's here. My attorney's here. My in-laws are here. He said, we got the kids here. There are about 9 of us. And he said, I want to introduce you. So he introduces me as Aaron Pierce. And we talk, and he asks about the show. And finally I said, well, I grew up watching you and Tim and Carol, and even did a TV series just a couple of years ago with Tim. This was in, this would have been season 5. So about 2006. I said, Tim Conway and I did a series together. And he goes, oh, well, then you know Tim really well. I said, I do. So now I've met Carol, but I had never met you. So this is a tour around the bases. Still haven't met Vicki Lawrence. And he says, well, let me ask you this. So you a fan of Tim's? And I said, I am. And I'm a fan of you as well. He said, good. Would you like tickets to come see our show?
Oh, wow.
And I said, of course I would. And he said, we're doing our last tour around the U.S. and we will be back here in Los Angeles in 6 weeks at some theater that was in Woodland Hills, a big theater, about 3,000 people. Anyway, we said yes. And we got just beautiful, like 8th row center seats, beautiful, better than first or second row.
Wow.
Wow.
Right? Just 8 rows back, dead center. And they had an intermission. And instead of leaving the stage, just like Carol Burnett, they turned up the house lights and talked with the audience and took questions. But before they did, he said, his first thing out of his mouth when they came out to the audience, he said, ladies and gentlemen, how many 24 fans do we have out there? And I just went, no way. No way.
Wow.
He is not going to do this. And he goes, Glenn, are you here? Did you make it? I left tickets for you. And they threw a spotlight. I waved my hand. He goes, stand up for me. And I just, all of a sudden, I rewound in my mind to being 10 years old. I'm very emotional about this right now when I think about it, being 10 years old with my parents in our den, watching the Carol Burnett show and looking up to Tim and Harvey and Carol and Vicki Lawrence and Lyle Wagner. And now here I am, fast forward all these years later, and Harvey Korman is introducing Carolyn and me to the crowd.
Wow.
And I just thought, these are those moments that you want to just freeze in time and hold on to them because they are cherishable moments. And I'm finding that the older I get, every day, every minute includes a cherishable moment. And we've had so many of those on Clubhouse this week, so many cherishable shares. Ken, will you share before we go off about the gentleman that was crying? What are you laughing about, Scott?
I'm sorry, this is so bad because I'm such a fan of this movie. It would have been great if when you said Aaron Pierce, if you'd gone, Hedy Lamar, so he could go, that's Headley.
Oh, right. Headley.
Like,
Headley.
That's Headley.
Hey,
He's so great in that.
we
it's
have
Blazing
Christopher Voss.
Saddles, right? Blazing Saddles.
Yep.
We have Christopher Voss watching. Look what he said.
First time watching this. Love, love, love this. Wow, we got 3 loves.
so nice.
Thanks, guys. New fan of the Ken and Glenn show with a guy named Scott. Thank you, Christopher. Thank
Wow.
you. Yeah, Christopher was with us on Clubhouse.
Yeah.
Will you share that story? And the person will hold on to their anonymity because it's about what happened. It's not about the person.
So, so we were in you. What was it you were talking about?
I was talking about how we tend to stifle the natural things such as crying. And I was talking about how it's not as though tear ducts were accidentally installed in men.
right?
The great Joe Ingram in
Yeah.
the house.
And so Glenn was going on about how we shouldn't stifle. I mean, God didn't accidentally install tear ducts in men, but it's a natural response that as soon as somebody starts crying, we hand them a tissue to dry their tears. We've heard Glenn talk about that.
Or if we're a nasty parent, we say, "I'll give you something to cry about."
Right.
Remember
right.
that one, Scott,
Yeah,
growing up?
yeah,
You remember that one?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And then we
Yeah.
wonder why people shut down. And boy, that is all it took to serve as a permission slip.
Yeah.
for this guy to
And
just-
so he basically just opened up the stop hiding your emotions. It's okay to cry. It's okay to express your emotions. And there was somebody in the audience, and this gentleman raised his hand, brought him up on the Clubhouse stage with us, and he cried. He was sobbing and talking about the trials that him and his family and 9 children and his wife had gone through cancer, and he had gone through having a stroke, and all of these things, and how he was stuck, and it was, there was not a dry room or dry eye in that room. I couldn't hear anybody crying, but I felt it. I teared up. I felt it. It was
right. And I think what it teaches us is more often than not, truly, I say this more often than not, I think people just need to be given a safety permission slip, like a safe place. That's all they need. And when they really do get in touch with the fact that they are safe and that they are valued and loved, then all of a sudden, all the barriers drop. And I find that tears are brewing right underneath the surface of so many people. And you just let them know it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Clubhouse.
Gloria, you wouldn't have believed it. Yeah, Clubhouse, fear of missing out. It's a real thing. It really is a real thing. I've felt it.
So have I been living in a cave? Is that a real thing? Is FOMO?
FOMO, yeah.
I had never heard of FOMO until yesterday. Someone mentioned it, and then I said, "What?" And they explained it to me.
Yeah.
Hey, Carolyn, my dear friend Carolyn Chase from Salt Lake City, Utah, is here tonight with us.
It's awesome.
And Joe Ingram, we need to see Joe in Clubhouse more.
Yeah.
I don't feel like we see Joe enough. All right, gents. Well, it's about that time, and we're officially cutting into our Clubhouse time at this point.
Yeah.
Tammy has dinner ready. I'm going to get a bite to eat. Her brother is visiting, so we're going to have a dinner. But if you guys are still on, I'll jump on with you a little later.
Yeah, well, we are. We're going to go into Clubhouse now.
Yeah.
Hey, Scott, give me an update. What's the score before we go?
Hang on.
Are
here
they in the second half of the game? Probably.
Let me pull it up here. It's ESPN.com tells me that it is 28-0.
Still.
Oh, that just changed. 28-7.
Okay. Cool. Well, listen, everybody, we love you. We appreciate you spending your Sunday evenings with us here at the Ken and Glenn Show with a guy named Scott.
Yeah. Ralph, that's it. Clubhouse drop-in audio. That's correct. All right, gentlemen. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. Love you both.
Love you guys.
Have a
Love
beautiful week.
everybody out there. Thank you all for being here and sharing this out. You all rock.
Tuesday night premiere, The Resident on
The Resident.
Fox.
Season 4, Fox Television.
January 12th. See you guys. Have a
See
good
you
week.
guys.
Have a great night, everybody. Thanks for
Scott.
watching the Ken and Glenn show with a guy named Scott. We'll see you next Sunday.
Mwah.
Bye-bye.